Hey folks, thank you for joining us for morning prayer. Thank you for joining me for this reflection. We are going to be talking today about the 9th chapter of the Gospel of Mark. In particular, it's the passages known as the transfiguration. This is when the disciples, Peter, James, and John, they're on the top of this mountain with Jesus. And then all of a sudden they wake up and they find Jesus is standing there with Moses and Elijah, and they're glowing. Right? It says their clothes are so white, like nobody possibly could have bleached them that white. But yet there they are. And then Peter, like Peter is oft prone to do, says, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. Let's build 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah." It says they were terrified. They didn't know what to say. They were terrified. And then a voice from heaven spoke, "This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him." And that's what I really want to talk about today, that particular part of the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration is this wonderful Christian mystery, really. I don't think it's ever, to my appreciation, it's never fully been explained to me in a way that's resolved all of my questions. But in this particular part, Peter, again, does what Peter does, which is jumps in. "Lord, it's great that we're here. Let's build 3 houses, 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah." But then the next passage says they didn't know what to say. They were terrified. And so if you take that line and then go back and reread what Peter says in a terrified mind, with a terrified mind and a terrified voice. "Lord, it's good we're here. Let's build 3 shelters. One for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah." It changes the context a little bit. You see, what Peter is seeing is he's seeing Jesus transformed, transfigured. Right? Jesus doesn't look like he used to look like. Jesus looks different in the presence of Moses and Elijah. Moses and Elijah look different than what the stories have always told Peter they would look like. They're glowing. They're unnatural. It's odd. It's terrifying. Seeing these 3 people together shouldn't be terrifying. Why am I terrified in this moment? And then God's voice comes into play. "This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him. Trust him. Do what he tells you to do. Follow him." See, Peter in this moment is experiencing a personal transformation. He's seeing the future in some ways. He's seeing his future in some ways, where his physical being will be transfigured into something else, something unimaginable, something that he never would have thought of or considered possible. He's getting a glimpse of what he will become, how he will be seen. And that's terrifying. For a Galilean fisherman with no education, that's terrifying. For a Galilean fisherman who nobody ever wanted to teach, now standing in the presence of his rabbi Jesus, the man Moses, and the prophet Elijah. That is a terrifying place to find himself. And that's kind of the place where we all find ourselves walking with Christ. Because for all of us, whether we are brand new to the faith, whether we are 120 years old and have known Jesus for 123 years, every single day, Jesus calls us to transformation. To some extent, every single day, walking this journey with Jesus Christ, we are called to growth. And growth is another word for change. And change, for the best of us, is terrifying. It's a scary proposition. It would be so much easier, life would be so much easier, if once we got to that place where things are good, it could just stay that way. But it never does. The essence of life is change. The fuel of life is change. And then we hear God's voice. This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him. I know that change is scary. Listen to him. I know that he's calling you to growth and transformation. Listen to him. I know he's calling you into uncomfortable places to do uncomfortable things. Listen to him. I know he's asking you to sacrifice yourself and the things that you have for the people around you and for your community. Listen to him. You can trust him. You can follow him. He is worthy. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that as we journey forward, regardless of how scary the next step looks, we'll trust in Jesus Christ. We'll trust in the essence of who he was. And we'll follow. Amen.